Real Wargamer here with Combat. Combat playing with the Iron Cross rules. Let's talk about defensive fire. And there's a defensive fire phase. Let's talk first about which units can fire. Any normal status unit that has not already fired in the player turn is considered eligible to perform fire combat. Pinned, suppressed units are not eligible to fire. Units that have already attempted to fire in the player turn are not eligible to fire. Exception: machine gun modes. Defensive fire phase: the non-phasing player may attempt to fire with any eligible units that did not move in the reaction movement phase or use opportunity fire. So let's take a look at that. But first, some remarks from earlier play. Okay, so I continue to assess the how to play with my added pieces. Way back here, this unit moved, and I did mark it with a moved unit, which is correct. Moved marker. But I believe I should have marked it also when it was. So what I'm thinking now is maybe I'm going to put the move marker like the fired marker on top of it. That's just one unit. And maybe I'm going to put the number marker next to it. And so this unit moved to, and they moved in the fourth phase. And the reason why I'm going to set them to the side, this one too. This is why I'm going to set them to the side, because I think I want to remove them the moment they are no longer relevant. I'll explain that in just a second. And again, there's so many things to remember. When Moser, I believe, when Moser conducted opportunity fire, I completely forgot. He also should have been marked fired, and he also should have been marked fourth phase because he fired in the reaction movement phase. So he's phasing. That's what I got my little reminder marker here. So he's the phasing side, and since Moser is the phasing side and conducted fire in the fourth phase, or that is the reaction movement. So you know it's opportunity fire because it was the non-phasing player's reaction movement phase. Okay. Hang on. Yeah, so one thing that is becoming clear to me, I think it's very good for me to leave my numbered counters visible next to the stacks. And this is why. So I'm looking at the turn record track here, the turn sequence here, not turn record track, the turn sequence, numbered phases, and remember that there are multiple game mechanics that require within the last three phases. 8 is shown with a number like the other phases, but it's not called a phase, so I don't believe it's treated as a phase, and you're specifically told to skip the morale phase when counting. So what I mean by keeping these markers visible is that the 3s refer to the last movement phase. So when we get to 1, 2, 3, 4, when we get to the assault phase, when I start the assault phase, 1, 2, 3, right? 3s are 4 phases back, which means that when I start the 7th phase, I can remove all the 3s. I can start the phase by removing all the 3s. Then 8 doesn't count. You skip 1, the morale phase. So when you get to number 2, when we're gonna get all the way when we're back up to the second phase of then the German player turn, right? then you count back 3, right? Skip the morale phase. 8 is not a phase, so 1, 2, 3. 4 is 4 phases back, which means then you remove the 4s. No matter how garbled that may sound, it makes a lot of sense playing it here. The only thing I wonder about, I don't know the answer to this question. I hope that one unit, one soldier, cannot have 2 time markers or phase markers at the same time. That's going to get difficult. Yeah, that's going to get difficult. Maybe in that case, I only show the oldest one to the side, but I don't even know if that's a factor yet. So we're moving on. We're going to do defensive fire phase now. So the defensive fire phase, the non-phasing player, so that again is going to be the Germans, may attempt to fire normal status units that have performed reaction movement, like Viltz there. I think it's Viltz. Yeah, Viltz performed reaction movement. He cannot fire. Opportunity fire. Obviously, I know that this soldier, can't see his name, I know this rifleman conducted opportunity fire. How do I know that? Because he fired in the last phase number 3. And the last phase number 3 is an American movement phase, and so therefore I know that the German performed opportunity fire. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another soldier. I'm going to add another German. I'm going to add scope here. All right, I can put scope in the building here, and I'm going to have scope try to fire over to Moser there. Okay, this is defensive fire, so announce the attack, determine line of sight. It's all clear there, actually. There's only the one tree in the destination hex there. Attempt observation. I think that's considered clear. I think it is, so it's 10. I think there isn't anything. I'll do one more check. Nope, for each tree symbol in the target hex. Yeah, so it's 10 for clear, which is fine, but it's +1 for. Oh, wait a minute! I have to go through all the. I have to always remember that observation is not simple. So here are my dice that I'm ready to roll. For every 5 hexes, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no issue there. No improved position. There is a tree symbol in the target hex, so that's +1. That is +1. Nothing along the line of sight, marsh hex, downstate. The target is a non-AFE unit, that's Moser there, in a downstate. He is down, so that's another +1, so it's +2. Those favor the target. Now modifiers favoring scope there. Actually, it should be. He fired. So, all right, I'll go through them again. All right, he was not successfully observed before. If the target hex has 2 more. No unit in the target hex moved within the last 3 phases. AFE observers, a commander, no. Density in the target hex, no. If any non-machine gun unit in the target hex used AP fire within the last 3 phases. That's what we know, right? The previous phase, actually, phase 4, they used non-machine gun. Well, they are a non-machine gun unit. They're riflemen. Moser is a rifleman. Shouldn't have done that. Moser is a rifleman. I should not mess with my stacks. Yeah. All right. He is a non-machine gun unit, and he used AP fire within the last 3 phases. I know that because we're in the 5th phase, and he used it in the 4th phase, which is within 3 phases. So the adjustment is -2. So that negates the 2 that benefited the target. And then I think that's it. So it's even, which is fine because it's 10 or less. So he easily gets it. So he observes, which, by the way, because he observes, we can right away take care of this. I should have had this ready to go. There. All right, so we can do this right away. We know he's going to have an observed marker. We know he's going to be observed. Wow, this is so many markers. Maybe some well, I don't know. I'll get to that later. This, by the way, oh, he still has to pass a PC check. He has an 8. That's not bad. Oh, look at that. He got 11. So he doesn't fire. But I get that I still find that strange. He observes but doesn't fire. Oh, he tried to fire though. Yeah, he failed a PC check. He's treated as fired. Isn't that funny? Well, it makes sense. He's treated as fired, and it's the 5th or 6th phase? 5th phase. It's the 5th phase. All right, there we go. So now I clean this up again. Moser is down. All right. He has observed here. That's his observation marker. He fired. I guess I can leave that on top. And then now he's observed. So he's observed. He fired, and he fired in the 5th. I don't think it matters when he was observed. There. I don't think it matters. Or I guess I'll find out if it matters. So, let's see what that's defensive fire. All right. I'm pushing the design here. I feel like I didn't run into some of these situations before, but now I'm pushing the design. Let's move on to the moving fire phase, the next phase, the phasing player. So we're back to the Americans. May attempt to fire any of those normal status units. Units that have already fired in this player turn may not fire in this phase. You're only firing once per player turn, generally speaking. So that's that. But infantry and AFB units that have moved may fire with a penalty. So I'm gonna add another guy. So I'm gonna add an American. I'm gonna add a bar gunner. No, we'll do this. I'm gonna add an MP. So we've got what do we have here? We have Cullen. He's armed with an MP. He has a proficiency of 9. It's pretty good. His AP firepower is 6 there. His base range though is only 2, in line with his MP there that he's armed with. So I'm going to put him in the woods here. Okay. So again, it makes sense that that he would be down like that. He's down. And now we're going to say he moved. We're going to say he moved. And the question is when. Now let's say he moved in the prior movement phase, which is from my marker. So that was in the 3rd phase before. 1, 2, 3. Like that. Okay. And he's going to try to fire at the German in there. Okay. Wow. Okay. Announce the attack. Determine line of sight. It's all clear there. Line of sight between them. Boom. It's all straight. attempt observation. So the German is in the building there, right there, building. So observate. It's a 1 hex building, so it's 6. To observe, the target number is 6. Here we go through everything again. It's a lot for observation. Okay, range is not a factor. Improved position is not a factor. Trees are not a factor. Wrecks are not a factor. Along the line of sight, not a factor. Marsh, not a factor. The target is non-AFV. It's a rifleman in there. In downstate. So +1. +1. If the observing unit moved within the last 3 phases. They did. They moved. This is the 6th phase, so go back to the 5th, 4th, and 3rd phases before. That's still within 3 phases. So that's +3. Or 2 for a total of 3 is what I meant. So +3. That is not good. Makes sense though. Modifiers favoring the observer, so favoring the American there. Successfully observed previous player turn. Well, no, not between these two, and that's what matters. I'm making an assumption there, actually. I'll revisit that. I'm making an assumption, but as it stands, he has not been observed yet at all. Target hex is 2 or more, no level differences. Any unit in the target hex moved within the last, no, but they did fire. They did fire within 3. So that's a non-machine gun unit, used AP fire within the last 3 phases, -2. So the 3 goes back down to +1. Did I miss something here? No, I guess not. So +1. So yeah. So oh wow, look at that. I wanted a fire example here, but look at that. They roll a 3, +1 is 4, which is 6 or less. So that's good for me doing an example here. So they successfully observed. Now they have to still do a PC. So the American PC is, no, that's easy. That's 9. Yep. They roll a 3 as well. Easily get his 9. I'm talking about Cullen's proficiency rating there. Good. So attempt observation, good. PCs to fire, good. Now we do it. Total the firepower, it's 6. But we're going to have range attenuation, so we start with 6. 6, by the way, is I already mentioned Cullen's AP firepower. Okay, but we're going to have range attenuation. It's 3 hexes away, so I think it's -1. I think it's reduced by 1 for each multiple or fraction of the initial range. Yeah, so it's -1. So this goes down to 5. 5, which I think is it. Yeah. Now they're in a single 1 hex building. Oh, here's the problem. Yeah, here's the problem. So it's 3 for the 1 hex building, +1 for being down. Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, the building is going to be a lot of cover. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why it's a... So where was the... Oh, firing unit has moved. I was wondering, where's the penalty for moving fire? The additional penalty. Well, yeah. Now it's 5 dice, which again, more dice is not good. So basically... Oh, the only result that matters is all 1s, which incredibly small chance of that. So I'm still going to have them have fired, and here is where it does happen. I was wondering about this. So now Cullen has a fired marker and he fired in the moving fire phase. So that's the 6th phase. And now we have luckily in the very next phase, that 3's coming away. But we still have to do this, right? So now how do we do this? I guess only the oldest one matters, right? So, I'm not sure how to do this, but fired in the 6th phase, maybe like that. Yeah, I'll do that. I forgot to do the observation. There's so much. Or is it just, I don't know, is it my imagination? Seems like it's so much. So much. And there's just so many little steps. They all make sense, though. And I really, no issue, but it's important to get it all right. So I do need to mark the observation here. So maybe I should have all these ready to go. Yeah, I definitely do not have them ready to go right now. Here, well, no, it doesn't work either. Oh my. Okay, so, wow. B, C, here we go, CC. Okay, so Cullen observed the German there. So need to mark that as well.